So chapter 6 is about random variables, both discrete and continuous random variables. In the first chapter we define them and what are they, what do they look like, what does the probability distribution of them look like, and then how to calculate the mean and interpret what that means. Same thing with the standard deviation. And the next video will be about the continuous random variable. So discrete random variables, we'll talk about. Continuous in the next video, are ones that you can, there's a fixed set of possible values, and then you can also calculate the probability of each of those fixed values. So if you can make a tree diagram or an organized list, no matter how complicated, if you can make that happen, then you're talking about discrete random variables. And just like other situations where we're dealing with probability, a couple of the things need to happen. So the probability of each of those values is going to have some sort of number between 0 and 1 to describe its chance of occurring. And when we look at all of the probabilities together, it's going to equal 1. So all of the things together are all of the possibilities with a 100% chance. So unlike all the complicated stuff that we did in the previous chapter, once you have your probability distribution in this, like this table, this one for some reason was a little offset when I printed, all you'd have to do is add the probabilities of the particular values, and that will give you the probability of any event within those. So if we were, example, here we have the probabilities that occur when you flip 3 coins. We did this in class, and so when we look at the conditions that need to be met for the probabilities to be appropriate probability distribution, for one, we add these all up and they add up to 8/8, which is 1. And then also, if I wanted to find the probability of any of these happening, like if I wanted to find the probability that I had an odd number, for example, and I would write that a little different, by the way, for probability of a random variable. We'd write with the large X, and we write what's inside as well, like we normally would, but we write the large X. And so the probability that it's even, I said odd, so I'm losing my mind. I'm talking about the complement here. My bad. The probability that X is odd, once again, big X, big X, big X, is going to be the probability of 1, which is 3/8, and the probability of a 3, which is 1/8. So you have a 4/8 chance of landing on an odd number of heads. We've talked about probability models before, and a probability model for a random variable X is the same type of thing. If you can make your list here you got your list, and we have the probability, the outcomes that have 0 heads, and the outcomes that have 1 head, and the outcomes that have 2, and outcomes that have 3, and then we can go ahead and have the probability of that. A distribution of a random variable is like this table is a distribution. It talks about the value as well as its probability, the value as well as its probability, or we can have it in histogram form. Here's the value, and here's its probability. So a probability distribution works just like any other distribution. We'll be commenting, for example, that this is unimodal and it's symmetrical and all of that stuff. So this brings back a lot of stuff that we've already. When we're talking about the average of a discrete random variable, since we know how much it's worth and how frequently it occurs, all we're going to do, and looks like it's hard to read, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to take each of the values, right? Each of the values, and multiply by its probability. So x1 is going to be multiplied by the probability of 1, and then we're going to add it to the second value and its probability, and to the third value and its probability, and then we're going to add it all up, which is what the sigma means. We're going to add them all up, and that's just going to give us the average. And so since this is a chance process, we're going to talk about the fact that this expected value by the way, the average of x and the expected value of x are synonyms from one another, so either symbolization can be used. The mean of, or the expected value of a random variable x is what we can expect after lots and lots and lots and lots of trials, because law of large number says that we can expect this over a long period of time. We can't expect this average for a short period of time, but for a long period of time. So when we interpret the mean or expected value of a random variable, make sure you are very clear that it's in the long run after lots of trials. So I'm going to give you, using our example from the coins, if we wanted to find the expected value, we would go ahead and multiply 0 times 1/8 and add it to 1 times 3/8 and 2 times 3/8 and 3 times 1/8. So we get 0 plus 3/8 plus 6/8 plus 3/8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12/8 is, what is that, 1 and 4/8, so it's 1.5. So this mean of 1.5 is not one of the values, but we don't change this. We don't change this. We don't round up. We don't round down. We just talk about the fact that over lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of trials, we would have a value of 1.5 if we were averaging all of those trials. So we would expect over a long period of time about 1.5. And remember, once again, we can also write that question. What is the mean? We can write it as the expected value. So here's an example so we can also understand how we're supposed to think about this average when some of them don't make sense with the idea itself. So if we're looking at like this APGAR score, and an APGAR score is what a baby's given in the first minute of its life to talk about its skin tone and its health around this and that. And so this looks, we can interpret this as if we're talking about 1 in 100 babies. So in this case, I have, well, they used the 6, so we'll go ahead and use the 6 too. So this means that 38 out of the 1,000 babies we would expect to have a score of 6. So then if we wanted to find the average of this, then we would go ahead and take the 0 and we would multiply it times the 0.001 and add it to the 1 multiplied by 0.006, etc., 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 right? And then it says that the average score, the mean is an 8.128. Now, an 8.128 is not an actual score. In the hospital, you're never going to get an 8.128. But the expected value over lots and lots and lots of trials, what the mean is going to be around 8.128. Which, if you look at how this is distributed, that makes sense that the middle would be somewhere in here. Before we move on to standard deviation of random variables, I want to remind you what standard deviation is and how it's generally calculated. Standard deviation is the same idea for random variables, but it's calculated a little differently because of the way we calculate the mean. But standard deviation means the typical distance from the mean. That's what its definition is. And so if we're talking about this being the mean, then the standard deviation is typically how far away from the mean. And we calculate that generally by looking at each data point and looking at its difference from the mean. And then we square it to get rid of positive and negative variation, canceling each other out. And then we're going to do the same thing with the next data point. And we call those x1, and we call the next one x2, and we go ahead and find that difference. And we're going to add them all up, and we're going to divide by the number of numbers. Once we've done that, we have what's called the variance. And then once we take the square root, that's when we have the standard deviation. And the standard deviation is the typical distance from the mean. However, normally when we calculate the standard deviation, after we've added up all the squares of the differences, we're going to divide to find the average. Because probability distribution already has that how much of each kind included in its probability right here, we don't at the very end divide by a number. We're basically doing that each time when we're going to find the difference of the data point and its mean, and then instead of dividing at the end, we're basically multiplying by that probability each time. So right here, this particular one right here, we're going to take the first value and subtract it from the mean, square it, and then multiply it by that probability. Then we're going to go ahead and take the second value minus the expected value, square it, multiply it by the second probability, etc., etc., etc. This formula right here, it has these little i's and these little i's, and that just basically means all of the values and then all of their corresponding probabilities. That's what it means. We're going to add them all up. We're going to add up all the differences squared times their probability, and this gives us the variance. And once we have the variance, we can go ahead and take the square root of that variance to find the standard deviation. So from this video or the reading, you should be able to define a discrete random variable. You should be able to understand how the distributions work both in the probability table and the any graphical representation. You should be able to calculate the probabilities and recognize that the probability model of the distribution has to equal to 1, and you can go ahead and find the probability just by adding them. You need to be able to calculate the mean and interpret it, meaning after lots and lots of trials, and then calculate and interpret the standard deviation. We will have a calculator lesson on that, but remember, you're going to need to show the first couple of calculations you would do by hand if you're going to get full credit.